Từ đây là đoạn văn bạn yêu cầu được viết lại y nguyên, không thêm bớt hay sang tạo. Number 10. The phantom phone vibration. You're sitting at your desk, minding your own business, when you feel it. A little buzz in your pocket. You instinctively reach for your phone, pull it out, and nothing. No text, no email, not even a spam call about your car's extended warranty. Just a whole lot of silence. You're not crazy, I promise. That ghostly buzz is a real psychological phenomenon called phantom vibration syndrome, and it's basically your brain throwing a tantrum. It's like your nervous system is so primed and ready for a notification, it just starts making them up. It's a side effect of living in a world where we're constantly tethered to our devices, waiting for a little hit of dopamine from a new message. Your brain has created a new neural pathway dedicated to the sole purpose of detecting a buzz in your pocket. It's so focused on this task that any random muscle twitch, any friction from your pants leg, or even just your own restless energy gets misinterpreted as a vibration. It's the neurological equivalent of hearing your name whispered in a crowded room. Your brain, in its infinite wisdom, has decided that it's better to be wrong 100 times than to miss a single text message. It's an evolutionary quirk gone haywire, a survival instinct for the digital age. You're not going crazy, you're just a victim of your own hypervigilant nervous system. Basically, your brain is addicted to your phone, and it's not afraid to lie to you to get what it wants. Number 9. The human magnet. Ever been walking down the street, and it feels like someone is walking right behind you, matching your pace, even though you know you're alone? Or maybe you're in a crowded store, and it feels like a total stranger is constantly in your personal space, orbiting you like an unwanted satellite. It's a creepy feeling, like you've accidentally become the center of a weird, unasked-for dance. This isn't a sixth sense or a ghostly encounter. It's a very human cognitive bias called the spotlight effect. Your brain, the ultimate self-centered protagonist, assumes that everyone is paying way more attention to you than they actually are. It's the reason you think everyone noticed the tiny stain on your shirt, or the weird way you tripped on a curb. In reality, most people are just as lost in their own heads as you are. They're thinking about their shopping list, that awkward conversation they had yesterday, or whether they left the stove on. You're not a human magnet attracting weirdos. You're just the main character in your own movie, and your brain is convinced everyone else is an extra. The guy behind you is probably just walking to the same bus stop, and the person in the store is just trying to get to the same aisle. The creepy feeling is just your ego playing tricks on you, making you feel both more important and more paranoid than you actually are. Number 8. The staircase. Stumble. You're walking up a staircase, lost in thought, and your foot goes to step on a stair that isn't there. You do a quick, awkward little hop, a mid-air panic shuffle, and barely catch yourself. You look down, and of course there's another step right where it was supposed to be. It feels like a glitch in the Matrix, a moment where reality just decided to mess with you. This isn't a sign that you need to get your eyes checked. It's a brilliant little quirk of your brain called proprioception. This is your brain's internal GPS, the system that tells you where your body parts are in space without you having to look at them. It's what allows you to touch your nose with your eyes closed. Your brain memorizes patterns, and the staircase is a perfect example. It learns the rhythm, the height, and the number of steps. But every now and then, if you get distracted, or the stairs have an unusual pattern, your brain's autopilot system gets a little confused. The pre-programmed mental model of the staircase doesn't match the physical reality, and for a split second, your brain sends a command to your foot to step on a non-existent stair. That quick little stumble is your brain's emergency override, a real-time correction to a system error. It's a clumsy but effective way of reminding you that sometimes you actually have to pay attention to where you're going. Dưới đây là đoạn văn bạn yêu cầu được viết lại y nguyên, không thêm bớt hay sang tạo. Number 7. Exploding head syndrome. You're drifting off to sleep. Maybe you're already halfway there, when you're jolted awake by the sound of a bomb exploding, a crashing cymbal, or a gunshot right inside your skull. You sit up, heart pounding, expecting to see a hole in your wall or shattered glass, but everything is quiet. The world is exactly as you left it. You've just experienced exploding head syndrome, and it's about as terrifying as it sounds. This isn't a symptom of some hidden brain tumor or a sign of a stroke. It's a sleep disorder. The theory is that as your brain starts to shut down for the night, the part that handles auditory processing gets a little mixed up. Normally, when you sleep, your brain is supposed to gracefully turn off its motor, visual, and auditory neurons. But with exploding head syndrome, the auditory part of the brain decides to have a party. Instead of shutting down smoothly, it misfires all at once, creating a massive spike of neural activity that you perceive as a loud, sudden noise. It's like the sound system in your brain forgot to fade out and just hit the eject button on the volume knob. These sounds aren't real, but the terror they cause is very, very real. You're left with the bizarre paradox of being terrified by a sound that only exists inside your head, a phantom grenade blast that leaves no physical damage but feels every bit as real as the last firework on the 4th of July. Number 6. Feeling a presence. You're home alone. Maybe it's late at night, and you get that unmistakable feeling that you're not alone. The hairs on the back of your neck stand up. You feel a prickling sensation on your skin, and you're absolutely convinced there's another person in the room with you. You whip your head around, you check behind the shower curtain, you peek under the bed, but of course, there's nobody there. This isn't a ghost or a poltergeist. It's your brain being weirdly protective. That feeling of a presence is a known neurological quirk, and it's often linked to a disruption in the part of your brain that processes your sense of self and your body's position in space. This area, called the temporoparietal junction, creates a cohesive picture of your body in the environment. When this system gets out of whack, maybe from sleep deprivation, high stress, or even just being in a strange or unfamiliar place, it can misinterpret a sensory signal. Your brain might mistake a weird shadow or an unusual sound as a sign of an intruder, and it literally generates the feeling of a presence to warn you. It's a primal fight-or-flight response, a remnant of an evolutionary past where being on high alert for danger was a good thing. Your brain, in its attempt to keep you safe, has created a hallucination, a phantom friend or enemy to keep you company. It's the neurological equivalent of a smoke detector going off because you're cooking a pizza a little too close to it. Number 5. The call of the void. You're standing on the edge of a tall building, a cliff, or even just looking out a high window. For a fleeting, stomach-churning second, you have a bizarre, irrational thought. What if I just jumped? It's a terrifying, unwelcome urge that appears from nowhere, and it makes you question your own sanity. This isn't a secret desire to self-destruct. It's a French phrase that perfectly captures the feeling. L'appel du vide, or the call of the void. This creepy little thought is actually a weird survival mechanism. Psychologists think it's your brain's clumsy way of affirming your desire to live. The thought of jumping is so shocking and so dangerous that it triggers a powerful instant fear response. Your brain essentially says, nope, not doing that. And that immediate rush of adrenaline and fear is a reminder that you actually want to stay alive. The initial impulse isn't a desire to fall. It's a dramatic, subconscious warning sign. The thought of falling is a shortcut your brain takes to say, hey, be careful, this is a dangerous situation. So the next time you're on a tall balcony and you get that little shudder of an idea, don't worry, it's not a death wish. It's just your brain, being its wonderfully dramatic self, reminding you that you're very much alive. Number 4. Sleep paralysis. You wake up in the middle of the night, but something is wrong. You can't move. You can't scream. You feel an oppressive weight on your chest, and in the corner of your eye, you see a shadowy figure standing in the room. It feels like a waking nightmare, a real-life horror movie where you're the helpless star. This terrifying experience is called sleep paralysis, and it's actually a glitch in your brain's sleep cycle. When you enter REM sleep, the part of your brain that handles dreaming, your body's muscles are temporarily paralyzed. This is a good thing. It keeps you from physically acting out your dreams. Normally, you wake up after this paralysis has worn off. But with sleep paralysis, you wake up while you're still paralyzed. Your brain is awake, but your body hasn't gotten the memo yet. Your mind is fully conscious, but your muscles are still in lockdown. That feeling of a heavy weight on your chest? It's your brain misinterpreting the sensation of not being able to move. The shadowy figure? That's your brain, in a state of extreme panic and confusion, creating a hallucination to explain the terrifying situation. Your brain is trying to make sense of something that feels fundamentally wrong, so it invents a story, a terrifying intruder, to fill in the blanks. It's a horrifying experience, but it's a temporary neurological misfire, not a demonic visitation. Duiday la doan van ban yêu cầu được viết lại y nguyên, không thêm bớt hay sang thảo. Number 3. You're walking alone and suddenly feel a cold hand on your shoulder, a brush against your cheek, or a chilling whisper in your ear. You turn around, expecting to see a person, but there's nobody there. You might have even felt the sensation so strongly that it made you jump or gasp. This isn't a ghost. It's a phenomenon called pareidolia, but specifically, a more tactile form of it. Pareidolia is when your brain finds patterns in random data, like seeing a face in a cloud. Your brain is a pattern-finding supercomputer, and sometimes it overperforms. In the case of a ghostly touch, your brain is taking a random sensory input and creating a coherent narrative around it. It might be a tiny shift in air pressure, a stray draft from an open window, or even a slight muscle twitch that your brain, in a state of high alert or anxiety, misinterprets. It takes that insignificant data point and says, "That's a hand." Your brain is literally tricking you into feeling something that isn't there, just as it convinces you that you hear your phone buzzing when it isn't. The spooky part is that your brain is so good at this that you can't tell the difference between the phantom touch and a real one. It's not a spirit reaching out to you. It's your own nervous system getting a little too creative for its own good. Number 2, the eerie sensation of being watched. You're in a crowded room, but you get that unmistakable feeling that someone is staring at you. You glance around, scanning the faces, and sure enough, you lock eyes with someone who immediately looks away. This isn't a psychic ability, it's a cocktail of psychology and biology. First, there's a natural human instinct called gaze detection. Humans are wired to detect when someone is looking at them, a leftover survival mechanism from our ancestors who needed to know when they were being watched by a predator. Our peripheral vision is surprisingly good at picking up the subtle details of someone's face, and a direct gaze is a powerful signal. But there's a more interesting piece to the puzzle. Our brains are prone to confirmation bias. When you get that feeling of being watched, you start scanning the room specifically to find someone looking at you. You're not paying attention to all the people who aren't looking at you. You only notice the one person who happens to be glancing in your direction at the exact moment you look up. It's a self-fulfilling prophecy. Your brain creates the feeling of being watched, and then you subconsciously seek out the evidence to prove it's true. It's the psychological equivalent of asking a question and then only listening for the answer you want to hear. Number 1, déjà vu. You're walking down an unfamiliar street in a city you've never been to before, but a sudden, overwhelming feeling washes over you. You've been here. You've seen that exact cafe with the red awning, that specific crack in the sidewalk, and you know exactly what's around the next corner. It's a creepy, unsettling feeling, a glitch in the fabric of reality that makes you wonder if you're living in a simulation or if you somehow have a secret past life. But déjà vu isn't a sign of a psychic awakening. It's a temporary neurological hiccup in your brain's memory system. Your brain has multiple memory systems that work together to create a seamless timeline of your life. There's the part of your brain that processes new experiences, and the part that retrieves old memories. For a brief, confusing moment, these two systems get out of sync. A new sensory input, the sight of the cafe, the sound of a nearby song, gets accidentally routed to your brain's long-term memory system first, before it gets processed as a new event. So when your brain finally processes it as a new experience, it's already got a file on it in your memory banks. The result is that you're experiencing something new, but your brain is telling you it's an old memory. It's like your brain's filing system got a little jumbled, and it mistakenly puts a new document in the archives folder instead of the inbox. Another theory is that it's a quick, harmless version of a small seizure. A tiny, insignificant electrical misfire in the temporal lobe, the part of your brain that handles memory, can cause this feeling. It's the same part of the brain where complex seizures originate, and one of the classic auras of a temporal lobe seizure is a feeling of déjà vu. Don't panic, though. For the vast majority of people, déjà vu is just a momentary, harmless blip. It's a sign that your complex, beautiful brain is working so hard to make sense of the world that it occasionally gets its wires crossed, resulting in a perfectly normal, yet totally creepy feeling that you're living the same moment twice. So next time it happens, don't worry about the simulation theory. Just appreciate that your brain is so good at its job that it accidentally tricked itself.